Good morning, everybody, and welcome. There is the man himself, Lyall Cooper, and I've managed to get hold of him before he rushes off to the Vaal today. You're on the Vaal Classic Racing, Lyall. Good to see you here. I know that you'll be working with Nico later.
Yeah, that'll be nice to have Nico calling out there, and we'll discuss the card briefly before we start. And yeah, you and I have had a brief discussion as well. We think there are one or two favourites that can be beaten here.
Yeah, we've got quite a lot of content, as we always do on the Joburg meetings, well, on any race day, going out on the channel today. So this will be a preview with Lyall and Neil. I'm going to take care of a soccershop.bet price booster later on. Plus, there'll be a take a bet, which Nico and Flochlo are going to do, although we've actually supplied the numbers. Nico I don't know whether he's recovering from the wedding, not his, but Alistair Cohen's on Tuesday.
Probably. I'll see today. I'll see him today. Let's see.
Yes. Anyway, so a lot of content going out today, and of course it's a busy time. There's the FedEx St. Jude Championships golf, which will interest Lyall. Of course, that starts today. That's the start of the FedEx playoffs. So huge money there in the golfing world.
Yeah, lovely. And you also got a nice interview coming up later today, I believe.
Yeah, that'll be actually on Super Saturday on the weekend with Ashley Buhai, who a lot of South Africans will remember as Ashley Simon. And you and I were chatting because we all go back some way with her. Terrific to see what she pulled off winning the British Women's Open on Women's Month. So it all came together. Yeah, I'll be chatting to her. She's in the States a bit later.
And it's about time she actually fulfilled her talent. It's about time. She's that.
Yeah. I'm sure. Well, that's part of what we'll be chatting to her about, because that was just incredible what she managed to pull off. But good luck to her. And it's a bit like a London bus. You might wait for ages and ages for one, and then suddenly two come along. So let's hope that that can start something for her. Anyway, let's get into the racing. Okay. And there are 8 races at the Vaal today. We start off with a maiden handicap, interestingly enough. We've got an odds-on favourite here, number 2, Misty Cliffs. Is Misty Cliffs going to shed her maiden certificate today, Lyall?
I think so, Neil. Roy Magna commented he's obviously worried about the draw. It's a horrible draw, but he did say it brings the best form into the race. Very much informed Gavin Barina. Wow, this man's been riding well for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And on that last run, Hold Silk Garden behind High Roller. That was her first go over this sort of trip. And, when I look through the race here, the horses like if you go right to the bottom there, number 10, which is a Pocket Full of Stars. If you like number 1, number 10 is 11 kilograms better for 9 lengths. And a horse like number 5, Queen Britannia, is 6 kilograms better for 5 lengths, beating with number 1. So if number 2 doesn't win, I think we've got a very difficult race in our hands. So 2 is the first selection from 3, 1, and 4, but quite strong on number 2, Neil.
Okay. And do you give any chance to 7 Green Bubbles? Because I'm going to throw a few bubbles at you. That's my first choice.
Okay, well, I like your first choice. You've got to put it in. On form, I don't like it, but it does have 52.5 kilograms and a nice draw. And, of course, my man, Jeff Saister, the 4,000 to 1 man, riding for Stewie Pettigrew. So, yeah, good one, Neil. Could be some very good value.
Yes, well, I like the fact that Tongue Tie's gone on, and I love the pedigree. She's a daughter of Gimme the Green Light. As you know, I've got 2 Gimme the Green Lights in our Ben Mag Bloodstock syndicate, and this is out of a dynasty mare, so I think she's overdue to improve. And as you know, she's carrying 52.5. It's no weight at all, but interesting first race. Okay, but I won't be playing in that race anyway, because Bipot's not my game.
Neil, I like the way you think, because I study and I get the form, and then you always give us one that could come in and really upset the apple cart. So yeah, Bipot wise, maybe take numbers 2, 3, and throw in number 7. That sounds good.
Okay, right. Let's move on to race 2, shall we? And have a look at the second race. Race 2, Lyall, is a maiden handicap again. And Pettica's probably overdue here, but he's had a few opportunities to get the job done. He hasn't done that just yet. There's been a touch of money for number 5, Ships at Sea, and number 10, Plenty of It, is scratched, which is why you can't see it at the bottom there. What's your take on this second race?
Not as easy as it might look here, Neil. Again, it is a handicap, as you've mentioned. I think number 3, Big Five, is going to be my selection, with Gavin aboard for the Roo stable. I think this horse is knocking on the door quite hard. does hold the 4-horse there quite comfortably on that Parker Getrix form line. So number 3, Big 5 for me. After that, obviously number 1, Petica must have a chance, but the last 4 form lines haven't worked out particularly well. We have to go all the way back to the Beechhurst form line to find a strong form line. Number 2, give me the Royalty. Very strong, good last run behind Fiakato. That was a very good run. And then I just want to throw in a value bid as well, which is going to be number 4 all around the world, because although held by number 3, with that draw, and Calvin Abib has run some good races and could be an upset there. Of course, I'll mention the 5 as well. But for me, Big 5, Neil, to cut a long story short.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, he's getting a bit of weight. He gets 1.5 kilograms from Petica. They're both 4-year-olds. Gavin's riding well. I would think he's probably the horse to beat. But interesting money for Ships at Sea. Benefits from a 3 draw. And we should remind folks that this is the Vaal Classic track. And if you have a look at Ships at Sea, he's twice run in recent times over the Vaal Classic track with horrendous draws. So he'll be hugely benefited by the fact that he jumps from stall gate 3. So I can see why he's been tickled up. But I agree with you. I think perhaps you've got to put in a few there in that second race. Okay, Lyall, let's move on to the first leg of the pick 6. Let me just bring folks up to date, because this race is cut up quite badly. It's not even reflected on this betting, but I can tell you number 1, Captain Freedom, has been retired, and number 6, She's a Claver, is also out. So 1 and 6, leaving us with a field of 7. So I suspect that number 5, William the Fighter, will probably shorten a bit further in the betting. So too will number 4, Texas Red. What did you think?
I think currently Texas Red is the favourite here. Are they joint favourites now, Neil?
Yeah, they're just about joint favourites. Yeah,
I think the money is coming for the right horse, William the Fighter. I think this is the one. The Son of Crusade for Paul Peter, Gavin Lorena. Excuses first 2. This is a very weak field, Neil. So I'm going to go with number 5. Obviously, we're going to keep number 4, Texas Red, close, because Andrew Fortune labelled it last time that it couldn't lose, and he was very disappointed. So that it will run better. And then a horse we have to watch out here is Hertsochi. Number 8, the filly here with a compression mask on for the first time. Those were winners she ran against last time. So I would include her. And I would like to mention, no, I wouldn't. I was going to say number 2. Not at all. No, thanks. The value in the bet's going to be number 9. Number 9, because on that run behind Jinquin, just looking at my notes here, was 3 lengths behind number 6, who's, of course, a scratching, but would have been 4.5 kilograms better off. So I think that's the value, number 9. But for me, 5 from 8 and 4 in that order.
Okay. There's some very interesting named horses in this race, aren't there? I mean, Ultima Iktu, I don't know what that is. Hertsochi. Yeah. I mean, Hertsochi, we all know he was a politician, but why it's become Hertsochi, I don't know. Named by Ridgemont. I'll have to speak to the Kisvetters to find out where they came from there. And then Dil Dewana, I don't know what that is either. But anyway, yeah, Andrew Fortune's got the key here, hasn't he? He's got 3 runners.
Yeah, they got 3 runners here, but I'm going to take them on. I think from that draw with Gavin aboard, William the Fighter with excuses, I think this is the horse to beat.
Okay, interesting there. I would respect Hertsochi, but yeah, small field. You're not too sure of the pace. It is again the Vaal Classic, so it's a small field. But both William the Fighter's drawn 1, and Hertsochi, the stable companion, drawn 2. So they've got the best. Might get the run of the race. Interesting race that. Let's move on to where we will do our take a bet later on. And as we mentioned earlier on, McLaughlin and Nico are going to do that broadcast with our numbers. Now, Demover here opened up 7.5 to 10, is eased out to 8 to 10. Her stable companion is scratched, been retired as number 4, Astral Plane. But also an update, number 8, Twice as Special, is scratched. So this field has cut up to only 6 runners. And that concerns me a bit with Demover, because where's the pace going to come in this race? They might dawdle.
Neil, I really don't like this race. It is, wow, I cannot believe that Demover was at 7 to 10. There's no real strong form anywhere around this race here. I'm actually going to go with number 2, Liverpool Legend, with Caden Brewer, who's 160 now, by the way, for everyone out there. He's a 60 winner now. The claim goes at 50, so he hasn't claimed for the last 10, but he's got his white blazer and he's 160, so well done to Caden. St. John Gray, and I think, this horse trying the trip here, going up in trip again. Liverpool Legend for me. Smiley River, I do think there's a big run here as well, although held on that Zazu form line. And then, of course, Demuva, Song of Angels, and even a horse like Night Lily. Neil, I'm not leaving Night Lily out. If you go back to that run on the 3rd of May, was only 1 3/4 lengths behind Liverpool Legend. So for me, it's all of those 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And if I had to choose, I'd go Liverpool Legend.
Yeah, it's a very interesting race. Liverpool Legend probably likes a bit of a pace, and so do Smiley River. And we've already established it's a 6-horse field. So I would imagine that Demuva will go to the front. She likes to race handy anyway. So she's going to have to set her own fractions, which she's likely to do. But yeah, it's a small field. They say the smaller the field, the bigger the upset. But a lot of punters will be on the odds-on favourite there. For what it's worth, my each-way play is Smiley River. I'm not going to take you on for a coffee because every time that happens, you win. So no coffee, but we'll see where Smiley River and Liverpool's Legend run. Let's hope they run first and second. We don't care. In that order would be order would be fine. Let's move on to race 5. Now, again, let me just bring you up to date with some scratchings here. Number 5, Red Carpet Girl is scratched because insufficient recovery time. It won. Was it Tuesday? It won? Yeah, it won on Tuesday.
Yes, yes, it did. Yeah, I actually quite fancied it. I actually banked it in one of my jackpots.
And so did Nico. Nico tipped it. I know both of you liked it. So well done to you guys, but it won't be running today. So you can take that out. To my mind, it looks fairly competitive, but we're going to take a chance with 2 Vickle Spickle and 3 Quests from Afar here.
Yeah, I like those 2, Neil. Vickle Spickle back from a rest, but has nice, consistent form. Cabello for Erica Verdenese in Suzette Viljoen's colours. It was great to catch up with her on Saturday or Tuesday at Turfentine. What a lovely lady. And then, of course, number 3, Quests from Afar. Neil, I couldn't agree more with you. She took so long to win her maiden, but they were always very, very disappointed. And now that she's got that maiden out of her way, she might just go on from here. So you and I thought exactly the same here. 2, 3, and then I've mentioned Lollapalooza and, of course, Fantasy Flower. But 2 and 3, I agree with you 100%, Neil.
Yeah, Quest from Afar, very interesting. Been expensive to follow for punters as a maiden, but absolutely thumped Skyfall. And I think I'm right in saying Skyfall franked that form, broke her own maiden on the weekend.
She has one.
But I think they found the right trip for this filly, the 1600. She did win over this course and trip last time, so there might be more to come, particularly as she's a Ferrari out of a trippy mare, so she's got a lovely pedigree and she's still raced by Gain also. But as you say, another very prominent lady in racing, Suzette with Barcy, owns number 2 Vickle Spickle, and those 2 for us in that race. Beyond that, it does have a train smash feel about it because, you know, horses like Time for That, Evening Rise, all of these bottom weights could pop up, but we're going to go for 2 and 3 and hope one of those 2 does the job for us. Okay, let's move on to race 6. Sorry, Lyall?
And I say we'll take a stance in race 5. We have to take a stance somewhere.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's move on to the 6th race now, shall we? We'll have a look at the betting, and let me just bring you up to date with scratchings because there are a couple that have come through. Here number 9 In the Ether is scratched. So that hasn't updated on the screen, but In the Ether is scratched. A couple of other changes. Wings of Night has got tongue tie, and the bottom weight Princess Queen's got blinkers. This to me looks quite competitive. I know you like a bit of Stormy Lass.
I do, Neil. I like both of Roy Magno's stables. They're my first and second selection. Stormy Lass, the daughter of What a Winter, number 6 here in race number 6. Certainly got a good chance here from a draw of 2. I'm not too worried about the draw. We've got Stormy Seas with Reynold Simons aboard. Good second by Spielberg last time over the course and distance. And then horses like, as you said, Neil, if those 2 don't come through, Trust the Fire could be some very good value here, number 8, for Bill Human, Calvin Abib aboard. Of course, Clean Living, Daisy Buchanan, and Pinda Mazala might have chances too. I think I've mentioned all the horses that can win, but I think Stormy Lass will be right there and give us a good run for our money.
How good's your literature? Do you know where Daisy Buchanan comes from? I'm not.
The name is so familiar, but I've got a feeling you're going to teach me something. The name does strike a nerve.
I hope I'm not going to stick myself away because I didn't research it, but from memory, I think Daisy Buchanan is the woman in The Great Gatsby. It's Great Gatsby's better half. Days
Well
of
done, Neil.
something, but Canford Cliffs and Lavish Gal. I mean, Canford Cliffs. Gee whiz! What a 2-year-old season he had.
Outstanding.
Interesting. Okay, what I found interesting
Yeah.
about this race, Andre van Skalk has got a few horses. He owns a share in Daisy Buchanan. He's got a share in Edgar Town with Bar and Boertis. I hear what you're saying with the Magna runners. I'm going to shop around a bit deeper in that race, but we can afford to do that because we've made our stand earlier on.
Yes.
Interesting race. Okay,
Interesting
let's
race.
move on to the 7th, which is a novice handicap. And here we go again. Java House is scratched, which insufficient recovery time. She had her, let's quickly check, she had her 25th career start. Surprisingly, really, because she's 5, she's actually relatively lightly raced. But anyway, she ran on Tuesday, so she's not running today. So that leaves us with a field of 6. You're going to try and take on the favorite, are you?
Yeah, I like Fast Love here, Neil. I mean, look at the average merit rating that the Son of Master My Fate's been running against. I mean, it's way stronger than this, and has not been far back in the last few. Gavin Arena, I'll keep reminding you on what good form he's in. And yes, he's dropping down in trip here this afternoon, but the pace he's been showing over the 14 and 14.50 on his penultimate 2 runs, I think he's going to be quite hard to beat here. Yes, he has to carry 60.5 kilograms, but a big player for me. Jinquin could be anything, of course. And then Irrevocable Dream, must just mention this horse because that merit rating is down to very lowly 59. So 1, 3, and 6 for me in this race 7.
1, 3, and 6 for Lyall in that race. Interesting you mentioned Irrevocable Dream. I just want to highlight how well Farney Bronkhorst Yard's doing. The horse is due, and Nico Like, which won, was a Farney Bronkhorst horse that was due to run today. And that yard's been in good form. Irrevocable Dream's been an extremely frustrating horse. When he was with Alec Laird, we went for him a couple of times, and he kept running 4th, actually. I seem to remember he's got a terrible propensity for running 4th. I'm just looking here. Yeah, when he ran 4th, I think I backed him every time he ran 4th.
And you took him for a place, no doubt.
Correct. And it was short heads all the time in 4th place. But what I like a bit about him here is that, as you said, his merit rating's dropped. He had earlier on campaigned in merit rated 80s and 84s. And if you look above him, like Lulu's boy's been in 72s and 66s and racing 68s. And Muzzy taking the ride, who's riding at the top of his game. So, like you, I'm not going to leave Irrevocable Dream out today. But gee whiz, let me tell you something. I could have bought to Mr. R.C. Nell, I could have bought your horse multiple times over the amount of money I've spent on it. But like Mr. Nell, I'm keeping faith with him.
The bad news, Neil, he hasn't won for 1,141 days. I mean, that is incredible. So, not to be banked, that's for sure.
Wow. Okay, and I always go on about Java House. Java House now hasn't won for 784 days, but to be fair to Java House, that puts her efforts into perspective. Gee, was 1,100. Well, I hope he's rewarded with his persistence.
She's been my horse. She's cost me. I'm out now. I'm out of Java House.
No, I know Nico too. I told him the last 3 starts. I said, Nico, on air, don't tip her again. I mean, she will eventually win, I'm sure, but
she will.
Yeah. But you're right. But anyway, well done to all these owners who stick by their horses and hope they get rewarded. Yes. And I hope that's the case with Irrevocable Dream. Runs a nice race for Mr. Nell today. Okay, let's move on to the 8th race. Money here for Bloomington in what to me looked like a pretty open contest. What did you think?
Well, I quite like City Fella, Neil, to be honest, quite strongly. Nathan Tink for
Barney Bronkhorst again, eh?
Yeah, Nathan had 2 winners on Tuesday. I really like the form of this horse. Yes, it's drawn 9, but Farney himself in his interview mentioned he's very strong on coming in hot, but he said if Silly Fella gets the luck, he'll win. He'll beat coming in hot. So Silly Fella for me, from number 7 coming in hot, so I like them first and second, and then a horse like Castle Corner, Johnny Dogs. But Silly Fella, I'm going to take a chance with Silly Fella. I think Nathan can just get a bit of luck here, and I think he could come home and win the final race, hopefully.
Okay, well, I've got nothing to add to that because I think it's a very open race. So I might as well row in with you in that last race. I think it's pretty competitive, and Silly Fella, as you say it's only got 53 kilograms to carry. Farney's in good form. Nathan's in excellent form. And yeah, obviously coming in hot's pretty consistent. He won 3 out of his last 4 again for Farney, and that's an oratorio. I mentioned earlier on that I've got those give me the green lights. I've got an oratorio that I bought at the sales as well. And so ever since I bought them, the oratorios have been doing well. So long may that continue.
There we go.
Open race. Okay, Lyall, thank you so much. We're going to get out of here and remind folks that we're in your and Nico's hands today out at the Vaal.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you very much for including me here, Neil.
Good. Lyall and Nico are the guys on course at the Vaal today. From Neil and the team, have a good day's racing, and hopefully you win some money today on what looks like an open card. We're taking our chance, our stand in the exotic in the second leg of that first jackpot. For the actual numbers, check online here because you'll see our take a bet with tab slot.